All right, ladies, gentlemen, and as always, the most welcomed guests of all, gamers. Welcome back to another episode of Patch Notes Reviewing, where yours truly, the lovely and illustrious Chris Allen, goes over League of Legends' great, amazing patch notes. Now, this patch is going to be a special one. 11.2. We've been waiting a long time for this character to come out. The Ruined King. So, at least I think he's in this patch. I hope so. Let me see. Yeah, he's in here. Okay. So, yeah, the Ruined King is out. He's been teased for, I think, since the game's fucking come out, honestly. Excuse me. So, he's finally here. 10 plus years later, he's here. And unfortunately, he's a jungler. I've been playing jungle a little bit more now. So, it's actually working out right in my favor. I'm very lucky. But, in terms of his actual kit, I think he can also be a mid laner and or a top laner. Now, as my phone decides to ring right as I fucking start this episode, let's read what Riot has to say. I'm probably not going to go over everything, but let's see, because most of this stuff doesn't really matter to me as an AD main / jungle connoisseur now. Okay, so Certain King has arrived. Here in 11.2, we've made a couple changes based around healing. We've brought the spice up, everything nice for Soraka, grievous wounds, okay. Folks like Aatrox and Olaf have been healing a bit too well. Ooh. Should they hung to be tapped straight from their kits? True healing is on the inside, sure. So items we spruced up tank mythics, because they over-nerfed them, because they were ridiculous. Okay, so basically doesn't seem like a lot. Oh, we got a shit ton of skins to talk about too, so we'll go over those at the end. So champions, Viego. Should I go over Viego now? We'll wait. We'll wait till at the end to maybe get people to stick around. Akali. Akali is fucking... I don't know how she's doing, honestly, after the whole, item rework and everything. Honestly, I haven't seen her, so I can't say, but when I see an Akali, I'm actually not too scared anymore. So, maybe she needs a buffed. Without her trusty Gunblade, Akali has recovered well, wielding several AP mythics to advantage. Night Harvest. So she's too strong, they're nerfing her, I don't care. Okay, Azir. I think Azir has landed pretty weakly after the taking away of one of his main items, Nashor's Tooth, and the cooldown that it gives. So, Luden's is okay on him, but Azir's not really bursty, that's the problem. I think, honestly, you have to go Liandry's, even though it's not optimal on him. There's nothing really too optimal. I think Everfrost absolutely sucks cock on mages. Like, it's just bad. I think it's really bad. Unless you have a setup for it, aka Anivia. If you have like an Anivia queue and then you use it, yeah, it's cool. But in general, I think it's the most ass item just because of the delay. It's a really long delay. But anyway, Azir himself. I've barely seen Azir. I think we will always barely see Azir unless he's really good. And even if he's really good, I feel like he's somewhat hard to play. I love him. I actually really like Azir, but I think he's weak. I don't think he's too weak, though. His late game is still strong. It's just getting there. He has a relatively weak early and mid game, and that just became weaker with the new items. So, what are they doing? Q cooldown decreased. Azir lost the cooldowns on Nashor's Tooth and thus some of the wind beneath his wings. Okay, exactly what I said. We're giving him a lift by returning some of it directly into his kit. The cooldown on the cooldown is 1 second lower. I mean, it helps, but Azir's still ass. Okay, Caitlyn. This is scary. So, Caitlyn is one of the lane bullies of the bot lane, and right now, the top ADs, if I remember correctly, is Jhin and Kai'Sa. Jhin, because he's actually doing really well with the Collector and... what is it called? Fucking Stormbow, whatever. The dash mythic for ADs. The one that gives you the dash. That has to be nerfed this patch. I'm pretty sure it's going to get nerfed. I don't know how, but I'm pretty sure it is. But anyway. Caitlyn has been not played, and I've been very happy about that. However, Riot doesn't like that. And honestly, I think Caitlyn needs to have maybe 600 range, not 650, Because her thematic isn't really sniper anymore, it's sniper machine gun. So, I don't know, it's just stupid that she has 650 range and attacks so fast. But anyway, she's getting a base AD growth, which equates to... Let me use my handy calculator right here. 2.88 times 18. So currently, she gets 52 AD, about. 3.3 times 18, she's getting 59. Okay, so this buff means nothing. Hopefully it doesn't matter. Cool. Darius. What do I think of Darius? I think Darius is a little ridiculous. He has a really good early top lane, which can then translate to a pretty decent mid and late top lane, or team fighting if you need that. Darius is one of the best people in the top lane right now, and mostly because I would think the tank items got nerfed, and because he's just Darius. It's literally just Darius. So they have to nerf him. Darius has found a new friend in Stridebreaker. I don't get what the appeal of that item is, which allows him to execute his combo while quickly stacking his passive, by trimming some bonus stats from his passive to match consistency. So they're just nerfing him. 30 to 230, 20 to 205. Oh, so this is the bonus AD you get. Oh, this is fine. Yeah, this is okay. This is fine. So, for those of you who don't know, Darius at max stacks of his passive also gains bonus AD. It doesn't apply until you hit the max stack on any champion, but once you hit the max stack on any champion, you get a shit ton of AD. And they're trimming it by like 10, which is fine. It's really nothing. This does nothing. Mundo. I don't understand why they're touching Mundo. Mundo, in my opinion, is probably in a really bad spot. Excuse me. The way I see Mundo, he's kind of a contradiction. So, Mundo's main bread and butter, obviously, is his Q. Throw the Q, you chunk people if they're full health, you do even more damage to high health people. So, he's decent against tanks, right? The only problem is he can be kited very easily, and he doesn't do much else. He lives, but barely. And honestly, sometimes the ult, if you're ulting in a team fight, you're getting focused, you are gonna die, and you're not gonna do that much. So Mundo's a tank who doesn't want to go in and tank. Unless you're like ahead, and you know the enemy can't kill you, then obviously you're unstoppable. Mundo's pretty crazy. He does do good levels of damage, but the problem is, if you're even with the enemies as Mundo, you really don't do anything. You're kind of weak. And with the Mundo rework coming out soon, it's like, I don't know why they're doing this. I really don't understand why they're changing with it. I mean, maybe to get him in a better place until the rework. Honestly, that's the only reason I can understand. But aside from that, Mundo is just Mundo. I mean, honestly, he's just weak. But one thing I'm confused about, and it has to do with Viego, is this whole year of League is the year of Viego. So that means the next 2 champions after Viego, I think, have to do with his lore. One of them's a new light bearer, aka a part of Senna and Lucian's like little posse. And I think they're dead, but they're gonna get rezzed. And the last one is probably his wife. So all these new things that are coming have to do with Viego. I'm curious to see if they will include Dr. Mundo relating to Viego's lore. I doubt it, because he's a Zon crazed animal, psychopath, but you never know. But anyway, if they're going to do anything to Mundo, they have to buff him. There's no way they're nerfing him. He's not good. What are they doing? Q health refund on hit and on kill increased. Okay, that's good. It helps his laning. E bonus damage increased. More laning. R health regen increased. Laning and team fight. Not bad. Dr. Mundo has been struggling in top lane and the jungle. Yeah, everywhere. Giving him a bit more survivability and trading potential, and increasing his signature healing to make Mundo more Mundo. Exactly what I said. Sometimes on Mundo, your fantasy is supposed to be you go in there, you don't die, you cause a ruckus. Not as much as a ruckus as others who have CC, mind you, but enough of a ruckus to get noticed. But then they focus you down and you die anyway. So the Q, they're giving back all the health, which is something they haven't had in a while. Originally, Mundo's Q used to do this. Mundo's Q, if you killed something, restored the full health amount, and then if you rush Spirit, it would actually heal you, which is, you know, something I as a Mundo main only know. But yeah, you could actually heal off the Q if you last hit. Mundo in general is a very safe laner. Like, he's not that crazy to really put behind. Or it's not too easy to put him behind. That's a better way of saying it. And they brought it back. It was a little ridiculous that he could do that, but because he's in such a bad state, I think it's fine giving it to him. His E bonus damage is going up by 1%. That's pretty good. I mean, you know, Mundo's not meant to do damage. He does do it, but he's not meant to do it, so I guess this is fine. And the health from Sadism is going to be increased by 10%. Pretty good. I mean, it's helping him out. It's not making him crazy, but it's definitely giving him a pat on the back. So Mundo will be slightly better after this, and you will feel it if you're a Mundo player. Very good. Elise fucking sucks ass. The Q damage, I guess she's too good, aka she's doing too good in the early game, so they're nerfing her. This realistically probably does nothing. Yeah, this does nothing. Ivern. Apparently Ivern was too strong, maybe? This is just a fucking bug fix, basically. This is stupid. LeBlanc. What do I think of LeBlanc? I think LeBlanc is the most annoying laner. I played my promos, right? Or not my promos, my provisionals and promos. Basically the 10 games you have to play to, you know, get ranked. And then I played some more ranked. I finally got gold this season, thankfully. It was quick. But I went mid at a certain point because I got so sick of playing ADC and losing because the team sucked ass. I went mid. I wanted to have fun. I went against LeBlanc. I did not have fun. God, LeBlanc is so stupid. I fucking hate her. She is ridiculous. What are they doing? I feel like she's too strong. LeBlanc may be all smoke and mirrors, but right now she's not fooling anyone with the help of the deceiver by making it less punishing when she's... Yeah, okay, what? So her base health is going up. I don't understand their logic here, but... The Q cost is going down. Okay, so LeBlanc can spam more. Exactly what we needed. I think LeBlanc is actually really good. I don't know why they're doing this shit. God damn it, I clicked her icon. Anyway. Maokai. Support Maokai is fucking busted. It's one of the best supports, I believe, out there. Because of not only how good it is. It's not great. But for how good it is, with the level of difficulty attached to it. Me and Elijah did Maokai Jhin bot lane a lot. And we almost always went out. Why? We basically sectioned off an entire bottom portion of the lane, aka the brushes, because Elijah would put his E in there. I don't think Maokai is inherently crazy as support. I think, honestly, the thing that makes him crazy as support is the new mythic item. So then the question becomes, do you nerf the mythic item? Obviously not, because I don't think it's broken. But on Maokai, it works really well with his fucking saplings, because his saplings apply slow, which applies Imperial Mandate, which is ridiculous. And then you could just follow up with Jhin, and it's insane. And Jhin is really good too. So Maokai is too good. I never thought I would see the day where he actually gets nerfed, but I'm almost positive they're nerfing him, because he's really good. Maokai's support hit a growth spurt in the new season, and his enemies are feeling a bit sapped, making it so bushes around Maokai aren't as scary. So what I'm hoping to see here is maybe increased cost, decreased base damage, or decreased scaling. Because Maokai's starting to build some AP, and that's kind of scary. So what are they doing? The cost is going up, which is good. I think it does. It needs to. The damage ratio, 1 per 100, 0.8 per 100. That's fine. Okay, so they hit the scaling and the cost. So the E shouldn't be as bad. Honestly, for what it did, it would chunk the enemies out and apply the mark, which then if your AD hit it, would chunk them even further and allow the AD to trade for free because he gets move speed to run away. It was actually crazy how good that thing is, and I still think it's good. It just shouldn't chuck the enemy without the AD hitting the mark. It should do damage, but like not crazy damage, which is fine. This is good. This is good. I still think he should be played support though. I just think they need to revert his ult because God, Maokai's ult is fucking useless. But this is a decent change. I still think he's going to be a little strong though. Another nerf, honestly, might be needed. Nocturne. Excuse me. What do I think of Nocturne? Nocturne's pretty simple. You know, he's one of the simple junglers. He's similar to Mundo. You just go in, do your job. You either get kited, die, or you go in and succeed. And then that's it. He's very cut and dry. Now, what do I think of Nocturne? I think he's probably... Honestly, with the new assassin items and everything, and his ability to just get on the person he wants, he's probably decent. I honestly don't know what they're going to do to him. I feel like Nocturne is decent. I haven't seen too much of Nocturne, but I have seen him. And I don't remember him doing god-awful, and I didn't hate when he was on my team. So honestly, I don't know what they're going to do here. Nocturne is falling behind his jungle pals. Okay, I'm actually happy that they're buffing him. So it's time to give his Shadow, Paranoia, and All-Around Darkness some more stage time. The cooldown on his cool is 8. That's actually really fucking big. That's going to help his clear a good amount. And Paranoia passive, or our cooldown Paranoia, is going down by 10 seconds. That's really whatever. Pretty good change for the Q. The ulti is okay. Nocturne's a little better. His clear, though, is going to definitely benefit. Nunu. I feel like Nunu and Willump are one of the better junglers. Why? Because I don't fucking know. I haven't played jungle enough. But they're pretty fucking strong, and they're played a lot, so they're getting nerfed. Movement speed is down. Okay, that's fine. Their ganks were a little strong with the snowball anyway. Health is down. I don't know about that one. I feel like Nunu should be healthy tanky, but whatever. What do they say? Nunu and Willump currently get to have their tank and eat their enemies too, while trimming some of their baseline stats to... Okay, whatever. Nunu's worse, but not by much. He's probably still good. Top tier. Aatrox. Aatrox sucks fucking ass. I feel like, aside from just them living, because I know they talked about Aatrox and Olaf before, I saw this clip, and this clip was fucking hilarious. I'm not going to get it now, because I don't even know if I can find it, but it was this clip of an Aatrox fighting a Rost, and the fight lasted for like 2 minutes straight, with both of them almost dying and then just healing for like ludicrous amounts. And it was the funniest thing I've ever seen, because it's just like, you think one of them is gonna die, but then they just keep healing, and it's insane. It's like, yo, this is crazy. So aside from Aatrox's crazy healing, I think he's pretty ass. I mean, I barely see him. He doesn't scale well at all. At most, he helps in the team fights, brings moderate damage, decent CC. At least, he's basically useless and just a free kill. Honestly, I think he's pretty bad. So what are they doing? E self-healing now increases. During R self-healing decreased. Huh? Games like Aatrox and Olaf are able to reach a scary state with massive burst healing. Okay. The moments where they feel untouchable aren't healthy. Well, yeah, if they're strong, they don't die. So we're shifting their healing to be sourced more from their kit rather than... What? What does this mean? Umbral Dash's self-healing now increases to 50% during R. Huh? So overall, what is this? This is a nerf. They basically... If I'm doing my math correctly, right? This should be a nerf. Not only do you max E last, so you have to wait for the extra healing now. I think it's just less healing overall, if my math is correct, but I'm not sure. But anyway, yeah, Aatrox just can't heal as much. That's basically what they're saying. Olaf, probably the same thing. What are they saying? W lifesteal increased, healing amplification decreased. I don't understand these. Yeah, okay, so they're just nerfing them. The lifesteal is going down, is going up by 2. The increase based on missing health is going down. So basically, they don't want them living. This is just a straight nerf to Aatrox and Olaf. I think they're both suck ass. But their thing is, Aatrox and Olaf, is if they get ahead early, they could snowball it, which I think they should. Maybe Riot doesn't want them to snowball as hard. Not that I think they even can, personally. Maybe Olaf can, but like that's another story because of his ult. But in general, they're really like meant to snowball. They shouldn't be penalized for getting ahead, but I guess that's what's happening. Maybe it's just reining them in to a decent power level. I'm not too sure, but I feel like if they get fed, they kind of deserve to have a little bit of a power fantasy, and it's kind of being taken away from them, but not particularly. I think they're just slightly weaker, honestly. Maybe it's fine, but I think this is going in a bad direction. Senna! Oh, boy! So, I actually saw a Jhin documentary recently, right? From, I think his name is Xphil. He's a really, really nice content creator on YouTube. I really recommend anyone who likes League of Legends and, you know, the kind of history behind stuff, watch him. But I saw his documentary on Jhin, and it really opened my eyes to how much I love Jhin, how good Jhin is, and what Jhin really did for the bot lane. Jhin opened up the fact that we could have non-traditional marksmen in the bot lane, Senna being one of them. I would say Senna's a good example of a non-traditional AD, one that in my opinion almost failed, but really succeeded. So what do I mean by this? Basically, Senna was obviously an issue when she came out. I don't think anyone's denying that she wasn't. I think Senna was very hard to balance around. And that's because, look at what happened with her. Because she was non-traditional, and because, in my opinion, her kit was so overloaded, she basically got paired with, like, what was it? Another support, who then became the AD, and she became the support because her soul mechanic was so overtuned and powerful. They then nerfed that, and then she started going AD, and that was a little too strong, so they nerfed her damage. So, I don't know. I feel like she's in a very worse spot from when she came out. Is she in a bad spot, though? Yeah, probably. I feel like ADs just suck ass, especially her, because she has no crit scaling. And lethality on her isn't really that good anyway. But as a support, she's not bad. As a support kill later, because she's not a support. She's an AD that pretends to be a support. And she just tries to kill. But basically, I think she's okay. She's definitely on the worst side. She could definitely use some buffs, and I think that all we're going to get, for the most part, is non-traditional ADs, because we have a lot of traditional ADs, and they need to be, like, decently playable. If you have a non-traditional AD that's not good, it's basically a failed venture, and there's not enough of them to really, like, make it okay to have one be bad. Like, let's say I hate playing regular AD. I hate playing Jinx. I hate playing Caitlyn, right? The fast auto-attackers who really just auto-attack, and that's it. Jhin is great. Jin's going to get nerfed. I don't doubt he's going to get nerfed. If not this patch, probably next patch. Jin's definitely getting nerfed. Senna is another non-traditional AD. Samira is kind of a non-traditional AD. More similar to Lucian, but Lucian's kind of traditional. So you have Senna, Samira, Jhin. Jin's great. Senna's kind of bad. Samira, in my opinion, is in the middle. They're trying to make Senna good because, again, the non-traditional ADs need to be okay, in my opinion, for what Riot has been trying to do with them. So what are they doing? Senna's getting buffed. Basically, that's all I'm saying with that whole gigantic tangent. Cosine! Base AS ratio increased, which is attack speed, passive non-kill. Oh, and gold. Okay, so they're buffing support Senna. Q healing and damage ratio increased. This is really good. Aiming to support Senna with more gold sets, she can buy more items. We're also giving her Q and attack speed stronger scaling across builds. Interesting. Senna already traditionally has really low attack speed, so this should really help. Her passive, instead of 22%, is 28%. So instead of being closer to 1 in every 5 minion deaths, it'll be closer to 1 in every 4 to 3 minion deaths, which is great. The gold is getting even more than doubled from the missed rates, which is absolutely great. So you have another generation of gold income. And then the Q, okay, AP sucks, no one cares. AD is going up by 0.10, that's fine. Crack on, then Senna's Q on enemy champions now adds a stack of Kraken Slayer, max 1 stack. That's really good. That's really fucking good. So they basically buffed every Senna. AD, AP, support. This is great. Will it matter? Maybe not, but it's really good. This is really good for Senna players. No matter what, Senna is definitely better after this in every way possible. Great change. Shaco! He's probably weak, so they're buffing him. Yes, they are. He's probably still going to suck. Soraka! I have no clue how Soraka's been doing because I've never played against her. Or with her. We know you've been licking your Grievous Wound since its buff last patch, so we're increased Soraka's heal power all around. Soraka buffs, great. More annoying. I think Soraka's one of the best and most annoying supports there is, but they're buffing her. Which I kind of think they need to do. Grievous was a little ridiculous. But anyway. Trundle. I think Trundle is kind of ass. Again, he's one of the cut and dry champions, like Nocturne and Mundo. And those are either generally pretty weak or pretty strong. And I think Trundle is pretty weak. So what are they doing? They're buffing his Q and W. Does it matter? Not really. It's by 0.5 and 0.10. It helps him, but it's whatever. It's a stupid change. Varus. I feel like Varus sucks ass. So, right now, Kai'Sa and Jhin are the 2 best ADs. After that, it's basically the regular ones, whoever's meta. But in general, it's Kai'Sa and Jhin. Varus, I don't know why. I've never felt a calling to Varus. He does feel good sometimes, but I just feel like the fact that most of his power is centered on the Q, like until you get to late game, I don't know how I feel about the on-hit changes yet. On-hit I thought would be great. I thought the change would be great. But then I tried playing on-hit Kai'Sa, and it did not feel that great. I have to do more testing on it, see, but like, I think on-hit, because it's converted into physical now, instead of magical, it's really weird. It's such a weird thing to think about, too. Think about this. The old Jinsos gave ADs so many stats they didn't want. But I feel like the old one was better. The new one gives you every stat you want, even though it's less stats, but it's every one that you actually would want on an AD. But I feel like it's weaker. So in general, we got an item we weren't supposed to get and felt strong from it. Now we're getting an item that's meant for us, and I don't feel strong with it, and I don't know why. But aside from that, I mean, crit builds are okay on Varus. It's not what he excels at, but it's decent. Varus is more of a caster type AD, and, you know, his main thing was on hit, and I feel like on hit got nerfed, so he's probably bad. But anyway, what are they doing? They have to buff him. Base mana growth increased, R cooldown decreased early. Varus is a straight shooter, but he's been behind the curve, okay. Especially with builds that aren't attack speed heavy. So his mana's going up. We can spam more. That's good. And his his R cooldown, I was going to say Q, is going down early by 20 seconds. That's actually pretty good. Then 10, and then staying the same late. Overall, they're increasing Varus' early, which I think is the weak part about him. I think Varus late is really good. Mid to late, he's pretty decent once he gets items. But the early is just not there. And they're buffing his early with his engage ulti, so does it really change much? Nah, Varus still sucks ass. Zoe! So I have no clue how Zoe plays. I think she's still good because I'm seeing her played a lot. However, I feel like she's also been nerfed so many times, I don't know what they're going to do with her. She's being played, but just because a champion's being played doesn't mean they're good, but I have no clue. I see Zoe, but I feel like they don't do anything. Okay, with the new item landscape, okay, they're adding some pizzazz. Oh, they're just updating the W. No one gives a shit. Okay. Items! Oh boy, so they are nerfing Galeforce. I fucking knew it. So, Essence Reaver. 40% mana dealt from Spellblade before damage reduction. Interesting. So now it scales off damage. That's actually insane. So let me think about this. 3% mana. Let's say you had 1,000, which I think some people have more than. But on ADs, right? Let's say you have 1,000. 3% of 1,000 is like 30. So you get 30. On this new one, it's 40%. So let's just say the Spellblade proc does 100, even though it might do more or less, I don't know. But let's say it does 100. 40% of 100 is 40. So overall, you're at least doing 100 damage. It's better. I'm just going to assume it gives more mana. This is better, but I still think this item sucks ass. It either sucks ass or it's very niche for certain champions. I think this is a good item on Jhin, though. It's a very good item on Jhin because of the Spellblade. And it gives you, you know, crit and everything. And cooldown. It's very good on Jhin. Galeforce! Galeforce is outperforming the other marksman mythics, both in crit chance space and champions who flex into lethality. Jhin. We're pulling back some of the power we gave Galeforce in earlier patches. Basically what that means is you can't use the active as much. Pretty big hit. Honestly, pretty big hit. The fact that you could dash every minute and it did as much damage as it did and was an execute and hit 3 people was a little ridiculous. Now, honestly, I would have preferred if they just lowered the damage of the active. I don't think the dashing is the problem. but apparently it is, so they're nerfing that. And what they wrote here actually makes no sense and is another example of Riot basically lying. So what are they saying? So they say it's outperforming other mythics in crit chance space and for champions who can flex into lethality. They changed nothing about how those two things interact. If it's, pushing out other mythics in crit chance, why are they not touching the crit chance at all? Which they shouldn't, obviously, but like, everything they're saying that's a problem with this item, they're not touching. All they're doing is changing the active, which I feel doesn't really do too much, but whatever. I would have loved to see either a nerf to the damage numbers of the active, or maybe a little bit of a damage nerf to the just stats of the item. Not just a 90-second change. I think that's a little excessive, especially for ADs, but whatever. Hextech Rocket Belt, I've barely seen this item, but I don't know what the fuck this even does. Less move speed. Okay, they don't like it engaging. Imperial Mandate. Damn! This is actually getting fucking nerfed too? So it's still a strong item for solo lanes? What? Our priority here is to move it out of the hands of solo laners and to simplify its confusing trigger conditions. Applies when initial application... Wait, what? Applies when ally consumes the mark? Oh, the cooldown. Okay. So once you apply the mark, it goes on cooldown, not when the ally consumes it. Okay, I don't know what this really does, but whatever. Kraken Slayer. I hope this is getting buffed. If it's not getting buffed, I'm going to be upset. I think this is really weak, except on certain people. Kraken Slayer is extremely powerful on champion abilities that churn out on hits. Okay, so it's getting nerfed. Those abilities tend to have on-hit modifiers for this exact purpose, so Kraken Slayer will now leverage those modifiers of the following champions. Aphelios' Q on the lifesteal one, the pistol. Katarina's Deathlos. This was a major problem, and Urgot's W Purge. I don't know what this means, but this is probably a nerf, so. Yeah, it's probably just getting nerfed. It's not as good as those people, which is a little sad, because I think Katarina was the best user of the fucking Kraken Slayer, which is supposed to be an AD item. That's so stupid. Anyway, Shirleys Battlesong. This item, I don't know. I feel like it sucks ass. It's really just Sivir ulti, but just worse. With the cost reduction to Chem Tank, the niches for Shirleys and Chem Tank are getting too close. Not really. If you have a support top laner and a support in the support role, I feel like they could do the same thing if they really need to. Although they'll be weak for it, I feel like they could both do engages, but I guess Riot doesn't like that. Okay, so what are they doing? It no longer grants bonus move speed. It grants 40 AP, more mana regen, and less health, okay? So it's basically for mages. This is whatever. I don't know why a mage would ever want to engage a fight other than running away, but whatever. Gargoyles. I've barely seen this fucking item, and that means it's probably ass. Given the premium price you pay for Stoneplate, it's not quite powerful enough, so it's very comparable. Okay. So they're buffing it. 5% max 25. This is whatever. I don't know if the tanks are good anymore. They're probably okay. This is just a buff. It's whatever. Lethality items. I don't even give a shit about these. Marksman legendaries. Here we go. We're adjusting some of the stats on Marksman legendaries so they give more attack speed than their components. So it's a buff. That's good. Not much of a buff, but a buff nonetheless. Tank Mythic. Sunfire Aegis has been widely popular. I don't know why. Well, I actually do know why Sunfire Aegis was fucking broken. The hope is that by making a separate lower price tier for other mythic items... Huh? They'll have more occasion... Wait, what? So... Sunfire Aegis is now more for being tanky, which is good. Frostfire got buffed. But it's giving a lot less armor. Interesting. More cooldown, though. Okay. Okay, Turbo Chem Tank is getting hella nerfed. So it seems the tanks aren't... If you want to be tanky, I actually think this is a good change. If you want to be tanky, you get Sunfire Aegis, right? You get more tenacity, slow resist, and you're decently tanky. The other things got their tanks, or their tank stats reduced, but they give more cooldown now, which is fine. I think this is fine. It's alright. ARAM, whatever. Okay, bug fixes. No one cares. Okay, cool. The upcoming skins. So we have Ruined Shyvana, Sexy Dominatrix, aka. Ruined Karma, also Sexy Dominatrix. Ruined Draven, weird pedophile looking guy. And then we have the skins to please the Chinese audience, because Riot is owned by China. So we have Shanghai Scroll skins. And then we have Lunar Beast Viego. Overall, pretty good skins. So far, the skin year for 2021 is looking quite nice. All these skins are really nice. I particularly like Nico's. Jin skin's okay. Cho'Gath one's really good. They're all good skins. I just don't like the thematic sometimes. The Ruin skin line is one I really like, though. The Shanghai ones, I hate the thematic, but visually, they are pretty good. I don't like Viego's one, though. And then, you know, the chromas. Okay, so without further ado, let's also go over Viego. So let's go over his ability rundown. Before I do this, let me give a rating to this patch. So overall, this patch was pretty good, and it has Viego, and I'll give you a spoiler alert right now. I like Viego. So overall, and they did buff, I guess, a little bit of AD items. Overall, but they nerfed some too. Fuck. 7.5. I'm going to give this one a decent 7.5 Marc Merrills out of 10. But anyway, let's go over Viego. I'll give you my opinions and whatnot, and, you know, share, I guess, his abilities and go over him. So, here's the Google page. Woo! So basically, for those of you who don't know, Viego is the Ruined King. They did touch up his lore, as well as the lore of others around him, because again, this is the year of the Ruined King. So I'll quickly go over that right now. Viego is a prince from another land way past Ionia, who no one knows about, but Vladimir's from there, and Vladimir's his uncle. And Viego was a prince. His brother died, so he had to then become king. He didn't really care. He found some poor lady who he thought was really hot, thought with his dick, gave her everything she could possibly want because he was the king, but was a really bad king because he only cared about her. And then they tried to kill him. They killed his wife. He went crazy, tried to bring her back, basically went to the Blessed Isles, and fucked it up trying to bring her back with their magic. So now he's fucking everything because he wants to get her back, and her soul was with Senna. But Viego took it from Senna. And spoiler alert again, the wife killed Viego. Her name is Isolde, by the way. Isolde killed Viego when Viego revived her. But he doesn't remember that because in his mind, he just loves her. So anyway, in terms of Viego's kit, he's obviously a jungler. Obviously. But anyway, his passive has to be one of the most ridiculous things I've seen in League of Legends. Not only because it's crazy what it does, but also because you can probably play the entire game without ever using it. What does his passive do? When you kill someone, you could take them over and use them for like 8 seconds, I think. 6 to 8 seconds. Or some shit like that. And he heals when he does it. And he basically has all of their abilities except for their ulti. And can cast his ulti for free. And I'll go over his ulti in a second. But anyway, he basically becomes them if he wants to and can cast his ulti for free. But he can't ult using their ult. Anyway, his Q. His Q is probably one of my favorite parts about him. Passively, he has a lesser Blade passive. Blade passive, you do on-hit, current health. He does it, just it's a little nerfed obviously because that would be broken if he just has it for free. But building Blade on him will be great against tanks because he basically has 2 Blade passives of max health damage, or current health damage. Aside from that, his active, he just stabs enemies. So, that's cool. Now, any champion that's hit by an ability gets a mark on them. And with that mark, he'll basically hit you twice. So, it's like a free Jinso's proc, in a way. But better. And instead of doing damage, it just steals straight health, which I think is better because it doesn't take into account armor or MR or anything. You just steal a flat amount of health, which could be good, depending on the amount. But anyway, pretty good Q. His W is the weird part about his kit. Now, originally, I didn't know you could move during it, but you can. His W, he charges up with, that little sphere, and then he dashes forward and stuns and does damage. Now, the more you hold it, the stun duration and the range increases, but... Oh, wait, no, wait. The mist range? What? I don't even know what the fuck that means. But anyway, the actual range of it doesn't. The dash range doesn't, but the range of the ability does, and the stun time does. Honestly, this probably synergizes the best with his E, which is just he throws out a mist, and if it hits a wall, it basically Kiana ultis it and goes around it, and while he's in it, he's Twitch stealthed, so if you go near him, you could see him. But if you're not near him, you can't. And he gains AD and attack speed in it, which is why he's a great jungler. But anyway, his ganks are probably very obvious if he uses this. You have to use this probably when you're there, or if you're invading. He's probably a really good invader. But, like, imagine that. Imagine you invade a Sejuani early. She just sees the mist. She has no clue where he is. He pops out, stuns her, Qs her, mollywops her, then takes her, goes to lane, CCs the enemy, uses his ult to get out of Sejuani's body after using all her abilities, and then just wops the enemy too. Like, it's actually pretty crazy what he could do, and it seems super fun. So his ulti, he basically teleports to an area, and he hits the lowest target, or lowest health person, and it's basically an execute. That's basically it. And if you ulti while you have your passive on, or, you know, you're in someone, you bust out of them, and you use it for free damage and a free teleport. It's similar to Pyke ulti, basically. So, that's about it. I think he's super cool, super fun, pretty good against tanks. I don't know how his other scalings are, but he's a kill jungler, and I like kill junglers, and he seems pretty cool, and I hope he's good. But anyway, that's about it. Overall, 7.5 out of 10. Viego's cool. We got some AD items buffed slightly, nerfed as well. Decent changes, but Caitlyn got buffed, and I don't like that. But yeah, 7.5 Marc Merrills out of 10. Decent skins. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Probably, maybe. I'm out.